From the Cigar Chronicles, that's Liberty and Justice with Devil His Dues. And this is Neeley along with my very good friend Chris-Akin. And Chris, on the phone.
Yes.
We've got the one and only, what do we want to call him? The originator, the leader of Liberty and Justice, the one and only Justin Murr. Welcome back to the Classic Metal Show there, Justin.
It's great to be back, my friends.
Justin, be honest with us. Do you listen to the Classic Metal Show?
No, only when I Google myself and it comes up with my name and I pull something up and I hear 45 minutes of two guys bashing my life's work.
Now, be honest. Were you offended or did you find it humorous?
I re-recorded the whole album. I canned it all. I'm in the studio tonight. I'm actually recording Disco Duck. I got Steven Tyler with me. It's kind of going well. We got some electronic stuff going in the beginning of the song. I think you guys will dig it.
Oh, great.
Sounds fantastic.
Boy, you must have a big budget if you got Steven Tyler in there.
I do. I have a huge budget. We recorded 26 songs of garbage.
Nice. Well, that just goes to show you do have the sense of humor we thought you had.
Yeah, I actually do love your show, by the way, and I came out here. Hopefully, Angel of Death's out here listening. I can't wait to see what she does this week, and we'll see what happens. What's your questions, my friend?
Well, let's get to it, Justin. Obviously, man, you heard the show from last week enough to know our major question is why these songs, specifically these songs, things like NSYNC's Bye 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 or Hanson or Vanilla Ice. I get if you want to do covers. I don't get these songs.
Well, actually, we've been around 20 years, Chris, and this is our 13th album. And, the last 10 years we've been an all-star project, and we bring all these guest singers in. And it just didn't make sense to me to have C.J. Snare singing a Warrant song. So I just wanted to have something fun and, challenge myself musically. Me and J.K. Northrup from King Cobra are L&J now, and we just went in and rehashed some old songs just for fun. I mean, have you heard the whole record, Chris?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Now, you could tell, the other side, the original side, it's more serious. That's an LJ record. This other thing is just something I've always wanted to do, a covers tune, and I just thought it'd be maybe not cool in your eyes, but I thought it'd be cool in my eyes to do these songs.
But why? Why those songs? Why Stayin' Alive or YMCA? Why?
Oh,
Really?
Wenzel, quit it. You know you like Stayin' Alive. You inboxed me earlier. Stop it.
Well, Justin, I'm a business guy. Chris is a business guy. We pretty much do our own thing. The Classic Metal Show is 17 years old tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But I got to ask you, and I've asked this to so many artists, and nobody has been able to give me the definitive answer that I'm looking for, because it's all subjective every time I get ask these questions. Where is the market for cover tunes? Because over the last, what do you want to say, Chris, 6 or 7 years, there have been so many discs out there that have been covers, and I don't understand it. I don't get, where is the market for it? Is there any money in it? Who's buying it? And what makes it worthwhile to do that?
Well, at first I thought it was a great idea, but after doing it, it's something that I'm glad I did. It's cool to have all those guys on it. It's kind of what it is, but, you have to pay for each song. Every time you make a CD, you have to pay. There's no money in that, but the nice thing is I get charged $20.99 for my double CD, so I get double the buck, and hopefully we sell some more CDs off of you guys ripping me. So the answer, honestly, though, there's no money in cover tunes. It's just putting out a record and sometimes fulfilling a contract and so on. Hope that makes sense to you guys.
Well, who are you fulfilling a contract with?
Well, myself, I'm not fulfilling nothing. I'm more like Tesla or nothing. You know, I'm not on a label. Our last record was, but this I released myself. And if you sound scan me, I do pretty well. But you know, this is just something I wanted to do. I mean, I don't know how to answer it any other way. You know, any press is good press, right?
Well, I guess so. I don't know that end of the business well enough, so that is why I'm asking those questions, is because once these cover CDs come out or songs come out, you don't hear them anywhere. You don't see them on anything. You don't really see a lot. You know,
all kidding aside, I really don't know. I mean, it's that kind of thing. You see a girl, you like her, you get to know her. She's not what you thought. You know, it's 3 a.m. When I started this record, it was a great idea. At 3 a.m., you know, maybe it's not that great of an idea anymore. So, I don't know. I know, you know, I know you want me to give you this great answer, but I don't know.
Right. Well, Justin, let's talk about the other side of it for a second, man. Obviously, you're not just stuck with the cover songs. You're obviously writing original stuff too.
Right.
With the original stuff, I mean, is that side of it a profitable or just an enticing thing for you to keep doing new music?
No, I do pretty well on the Liberty and Justice records. I mean, I have to keep doing them. I mean, I won't tell you what this thing cost, but it wasn't cheap. And on the original side, you know, I was lucky enough. We've had 17 songs placed on different TV shows. We just had a song placed on some CBS show that got canceled called Jersey and Me, and that all pays pretty well. So on the songwriting part, you know, that works out. But, you know, it is what it is.
I hear you. So I mean, I'm going to assume then that you still have a lot of creative juice flowing, you know, regularly, to where you're constant as a musician, you're constantly writing, and you know, now working with JK. I mean, does that give? Is there a new feel for Liberty and Justice working with JK? You know, writing tunes as opposed to what you've done in the past.
Yeah, Liberty and Justice, the project, is no more. The Cigar Chronicles coming out February 26th is the last All-Star project. We become a band, and we have myself, of course, on bass, and I have J.K. Northrop of King's X, XYZ on guitar, who I co-write with. A great studio singer named David Cagel's our singer. Eric Ragnu, who plays with everybody on keyboards, and Michael Feehan from the Christian band King James and White Cross on drums. And we got a bunch of shows coming up. We're playing at Rock Harvest 2 in November. We're playing at some Skull Fest. You know, we're actually going out there and actually playing, which is cool.
Sure. And so doing that, I mean, at this point, with as much history as there is for Liberty and Justice, you know, as a project, does that give you enough, you know, behind it to actually take it as a band and take it, you know, further than just regional as far as playing gigs or actually maybe doing a tour?
Well, Chris, I don't think we're a regional band at all. If you Google us, I mean, maybe not me personally, but the LNJ brand is pretty well known. I mean, we've sold a fair share of CDs, and you know, most of the stuff we release through labels. But like when I release something myself, let's say you release a best of CD, okay? Mm-hmm. You charge $20.99 a piece for it, and you sell 100 of those. Do the math. That's $2,000. Sell 1,000 of those. That's $20,000. Are you with me?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when you do it yourself, it's not, you know, it's not that bad. You know, we had 7 offers from different labels, but it just wasn't feasible. They were trying to give me a tenth of what I paid for it, and you know, as you can tell, I'm pretty serious about the business part. I'm not joking around right now. You know, I don't have a platinum record on my wall, but if you sound scan, I mean, we sell just as much as our peers or more.
Right.
And no one buys a record because of Liberty and Justice. I'm not dumb. They buy it because Sebastian Bach is singing on a song, or Lou Gramm, or whoever.
Well, that's a good point there, Justin, because that was kind of leads into my next question. What does you don't need to give me specifics, just give me ballpark here. What does a Sebastian Bach or a CJ Snare command to come in or record vocals for a song track?
Well, you know, that's what, a lot of people are like, who's Liberty and Justice and how can they afford these guys? But, if we sold 30 CDs, I can afford paying Sebastian Bach. And most of these guys are musicians for hire. So Sebastian Bach, for us, we look at his fan base and what he's worth, and we accordingly pay him on that scale. But he is something else. I've never talked to the guy. He's one of the few guys I never talked to. Only thing I ever get from him is that when we promote the record, I do a lot of promoting. They just put X in front. I put X of Skid Row, X Skid Row singer, and he always replies in these bold letters. There's no X in front of Skid Row. Okay, thanks. I appreciate that.
Okay.
So it is what it is. And then, can I ask you guys a question?
Sure.
About last week, I listened to the show. Sheldon Tarsha or Shawn Nichols or Bubby Johnson or whatever he's going by this week. You asked him about my project, and what did he say?
What did Sheldon say?
Yeah, what did he, or Shawn, whatever, Bubby Johnson, whatever he is this week. What did he say?
Sean Sheldon did. He didn't say anything bad. He just said that he had an offer to do a song, and he did it. That's what he said.
Yeah, that's basically it. Again, he's one of these, vocalists for hire. Actually, not to pat ourselves on the back, and I give more credit to Chris than myself, but Chris basically discovered Sheldon, and I'm going to say that the Classic Metal Show basically shed light on Sheldon as far as being a independent solo artist.
No, he's a great singer. I just thought he was ripping on me. I thought
he didn't rip on you at all.
We worked together 3 times, and I was going to call him out on doing that Lady Gaga cover. So I won't, because he didn't, so I'll leave it alone.
No, actually, we ripped on him, asking him, what were you thinking? And he was just like, hey.
I dig that tune. I didn't think it was that bad. I really like it, actually.
Well, he's done other stuff, too, though. He's done, like, a Loverboy tune, like Everybody's Working for the Weekend, and, obviously he did Ice Ice Baby with you, and, stuff like that.
He's done other songs with me, 2 originals, but, I dig him. I just give him a hard time about his name all the time. I'm like, what did I call you this week?
Yeah, well, we've goofed on him plenty on that, and believe me, and I call him Sheldon. I don't give a crap if he calls himself Shawn Nichols this week or whatever, but I call him Sheldon.
Bubby Johnson.
He and I have hung out. We've gone to dinner at the Rainbow, and we've hung out in the studio and various other things, over the years. And he wrote and produced and performed the Classic Metal Show theme song. For me, for nothing. And people love that. They love that, intro to the show. But Sean's a good dude, and no, he never said a bad thing about you or the project. He just like, hey, he contacted me, said he wanted to do this project, and I said, yeah, I'm in. That's basically all he said.
Oh, that's cool. And I like Sean, I really do. And I wasn't trying to bag on him. It's just that, it's like, all these guys, I know that you said Chaz West is a friend and Jeff LaBar is a friend of yours, and we gave them the song. They were excited about it. Maybe they're excited about getting paid. I don't know, but they were excited about the song. We sent it to them. And, I like the cover side. I know you guys don't, but, it's not Testament, but...
That's not necessarily it. Let's be honest, Justin. A big part of it for Neeley and myself, or I'll speak for myself, and I'm sure Neeley will probably agree with this, is as non-musicians, we don't get the what a lot of people would call stage juice from playing something or from doing something that's outside of our character of music, of our style of music. So we don't get that buzz where that yourself or these guys might get from doing something that is so outside of the realm of what they're known for. So, for us, our gig is take it, listen to it, say what we think about it, and we're not judging it as, as fun or good or bad. We're saying, man, would I listen to this in my iPod? And
right.
where I think like where you're saying with like Chaz or Jeff LaBar, you throw those guys, what was theirs? Bye, Bye, Bye. you throw those guys by, they're probably, their first reaction is probably a giggle, which is followed by a, dude, let's do something fucking kick-ass with that. Let's change it around. Let's make it, let's make it heavy. Let's make it the heaviest thing we can do or something.
I don't have any of these songs in my iPod. I mean, these are crappy songs. I mean, they were huge pop hits, most of them. And, it's not for my list. It's just something that, if you like it or don't like it, if it's crap or not crap, hopefully you saw where we tried to rock it up. Maybe we didn't, in your opinion, but at least we tried. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's just, I think you probably see both sides of it, too. There's probably more excitement for a musician to do this stuff that's outside of their comfort zone than there is for a listener to be handed it. Does that make sense?
I totally agree. And, we've had our fair share of reviews, and, maybe it's at the point where people are kind of jonesing because all these guys are on the record. There's like 70 guest musicians on this thing. And maybe, they heard, George Lynch releases something all the time, but this is something kind of cool. He's on a song with C.J. Snare, by the way, who I spoke to this week, and he was giving me his impression of what you guys did of his impression. It was hilarious. And it sounded like he was giving birth or something. One guy, it was hilarious. I can't sing or I would do it for you. But, you were our talk in our little L&J dorky circle this week. You were the talk. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I get it, and I know CJ. Believe me, I know Bill Leverty. I know CJ, and, those guys have been on the show numerous times over the years, so, they know who we are. I don't think there's anybody in the rock community that doesn't know who Chris and Neeley are.
Just for the record, though, CJ mixed that side of the record. He's to blame for all the electronic stuff.
Yeah, I don't like, we just played a Yorn Land tune, which I love Yorn Land, but he just screwed himself with putting all that electronic stuff in his songs, and it's just like, stop it already, This reminds me of the new wave version of 1983. Everybody was on the synthesizers and, putting all that electronic stuff. I don't get that. I don't like it. It just sounds like pre-programmed, unskilled stuff. I like a real musician. I like a guy who can really wail on a guitar or play drums or sing or play bass or whatever the case. But when you start adding those pre-programmed electronic keyboard sounds in there, that just seems to ruin it for me.
Some people get offended easily, and we're going over the review and we're listening to it and we're laughing, and then somebody gets offended because you're talking about them specifically. You know what I mean? Right. And one of these guys, I won't tell you who, Pride. They're talking about Pride, and at the beginning of the song, you guys are saying you can tell George Lynch. It's definitely George Lynch guitar tone, and this person's like, that ain't George Lynch. That's J.K. Northrup. And it was.
Was it?
So,
really?
Yeah. What we do is we record a song. J.K. recorded the whole album in California at his studio, Alien Productions. He records everything, and then he leaves the solo, the outro solo, and the intro solo out most of the time. And these guys just fill in their parts. The song's basically put together by J.K. And the same with vocals. They just lay down the vocal, and they already have background vocals on there, and so on. So that was J.K. Northrup, who's a monster guitar player. I mean, I don't know.
We've had him on the show. I've actually had him on the show when he had his solo release out a few years ago.
Well, he's an official member of L&J now, and I've worked with J.K. for about 4 years now, and he's probably the most talented musician I know, honestly, believe it or not.
Very friendly guy, too.
Very, very laid back, unlike me.
Come on now. You're pretty laid back for coming on here and taking the heat from us, believe me.
Well, I could either make fun of my own project, but I like the CD. I listen to it. I'm proud of the Cigar Chronicles as an album, and when I say it's the best thing I've ever released, now you guys say what you say, I'm like, maybe I released junk, but
well, we didn't say it was junk. We were just wondering why. Why those covers? I mean, again, I give you props for all the originals. I appreciate the originals all the time. But when, as Chris pointed out, why, if you're going to do covers, that's just kind of a bizarre collection, It
was. And again, it didn't make sense having C.J. Snare singing a Warrant song in my idea. It just didn't, I wanted to go outside the norm and pick songs that normal people don't cover. Worked or didn't work, it definitely was my idea. I mean, it's definitely my my choice. Those songs were my choices. So.
Sure. Well, Justin, you don't feel bad, because I had Jeff Pilson on the show a couple of weeks ago, and I gave him hell for the Dawkins cover thing that they did on the TNN, the Tooth and Nail thing that they did, and they redid the Dawkins song.
Don't you think they stole my idea? I mean, I talked to Jeff about this.
Well, again, I don't know. I don't know who stole what, but I gave him hell.
They stole it from me.
I gave him hell. I gave him hell about it too. I asked him, why are you doing this? Why? And his reply wasn't because there was any money in it or anything like that. He says, well, I just thought it'd be cool to hear, Doug Pinnick sing this song, or Ripper Owen sing Kiss of Death, or, whatever it was. And I'm thinking, really? You took the time out of your day to sit in a studio and re-record these songs just to hear another singer sing them? I just have a hard time believing that. Not that I'm calling Jeff a liar, because I've known Jeff for going on 20 years now. But I just find that bizarre, for me personally.
Well, Jeff could have sang the songs himself. He's a great singer.
Sure he is. Sure he is. But, again, Chris and I, being novices, we're not musicians. We're just loudmouth idiots on the radio, and we just...
Well, you're listeners. You're the hardest person to make happy. But, in my defense, though, I have a PayPal from you, Chris. You bought my record. Why don't you tell everybody that? You paid for it.
Did I? I probably did.
And now he even tried to get a refund. He even, went to PayPal and tried to get the order canceled, so he wasn't happy I didn't deliver it. It's just a bunch of crap.
Well, Justin, I'm just gonna extend this invitation only because I like you and I know you're an honest guy, but you're welcome. You're welcome to be on the show anytime. Anytime.
I appreciate that.
And one thing I want a reflection on from you, and this is because this is a personal thing for Chris and I. For the most part, I grew up in Akron, Ohio, with Janie Lane, and I know that you had your run-in with him, and it's been a year since his passing, and I know that when you tried to work with him, he was going through a very bizarre time in his life. But what is your reflection now, looking back, now that Janie's gone, working with Janie? And, I know that you tried to reach out to him and help him. Both Chris and I, on a personal level, did that here on the show like 2 or 3 times and in person. And, regardless of how much you want to help somebody and try to influence them to maybe change your life for the better, there's no changing that unless that person has that desire to do it. So what's your reflection or thoughts back on Janie Lane?
Well, on the Cigar Chronicles, on the original side, there's a song called Sin, and it's the last song Janie Lane ever recorded in the studio. Janie Lane recorded that song, and 5 weeks later he passed away. I don't know if you knew that or not. Mm-hmm. So, it's very emotional. I mean, I love Janie. I worked with him a few times. The first time wasn't very good, but he always made good after that. And he's probably one of the most talented storytelling songwriters I know. And he's a good. I mean, he was a good guy. I mean, he'll be missed. And that's all that's all I can say about that. I mean, you guys knew him as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Literally, what you're saying is what we said to Janie. Several different times we said to Janie, why don't you just stop touring and just write songs and sell them to Christina Aguilera or Kelly Clarkson or whoever? Because you're right, the guy could write a song as good as anybody, and just monstrous hooks, were flowing out of his head. But I don't know, he just wanted to keep partying, and he partied himself pretty much out.
Right. No, you're right. And he's a great guy, and when you talk to Janie when he's sober, he's one of the nicest, most caring, most thoughtful men in America. I mean, he's just a great guy, a man crushed all the way for Janie. When he's drinking, he's not someone you want to be around. So, there's two sides, and I try to remember the good side about Janie. So.
Well, sure. we weren't looking for any dirt. I just more or less.
I know you want the elevator story. He's riding the elevator up and down. He's dancing around shirtless and
right,
slapping people. It's 1988.
Right.
But, and I have other stories. If you want stories about live people, I can bag on them if you want.
Well, who do you want to tell us a good story about there, Justin?
Who do you want to hear? Oh, by the way. Yeah. Carrie Kelly introduced me to Janie. I know you guys know Carrie.
Yes, of course.
Carrie calls me and says, and this is true, hey, what happens with these projects? Do they get paid royalties? Or what are they musicians for hires? And I give them the details about the L&J project, because we started doing this All-Star thing about 2002. 2 years later, after I talked to Carrie, Flash releases one of these things. How can these kids keep stealing my idea? How can I not get paid for this?
Well, Cleopatra made a whole label out of stealing your idea.
I know. What is that? That's funny. That's a good point. That's a great point. But I knew most of these guys. But after meeting some of these guys, we stopped having them come into Peoria where I live, and we started just doing over the internet. You send it files. They sing the song, they send it to us.
Right.
And Stephen Piercy was interesting. You have anything about Stephen Piercy?
Do we? We have tons of Stephen Piercy's.
Well, I'm a man. I have my faith. I believe in Jesus. I'm a Christian man, and most of my music on the original side portrays that.
Right.
And he comes to town. I pick him up. We go to the studio. He's at the studio. He looks around. He says, "You're not all Bible bashers, are you?" And I was like, "Why?" He goes, "I need some pot." What do you need that for? He said, "To sing." And I've heard Stephen sing. You need more than pot, don't you think?
Nice.
So he does the track. Blah blah blah. We're going back to the hotel. We're having talking, me and him. I pull in the gas station. It's one of these kind of trucker gas stations. They have these wolf T-shirts with the Confederate flag behind it.
Sure.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I actually have a few of those.
Oh, no. He's like, hey, I know I got paid, but can you advance me and pay me some of those, I need some of that wolf shit. I said, wolf shit? And he grabs these two shirts, and I'm like, what are you going to do with those shirts? He goes, I wear them.
Nice.
All right. You wear them, great. So that's my Stephen Piercy story.
Oh, love it. Well, Stephen for about a year was like third mic here on the Classic Metal Show. Yeah. He would just email and said, "Hey, I can come on tonight if you want." And it's just like, yeah, we'll have Stephen on.
He's a funny dude. He just, I need that wolf shit.
That sounds like Stephen.
I know, that's my impression of him too. He's
he's funny.
We're doing the vocal, and he's like, you gotta quadruple that. I'm like, quadruple it. How some singers want it doubled.
You mean triple track? He needs the triple track.
He wanted quadruple track.
Right. Nice.
So he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a different guy. He's funny though.
He's funny.
All right, Justin. Go ahead.
You take 30 minutes of my time harassing me.
Well, Justin, like I said, you've been a good sport about it, and Chris and I, we don't mean any harm, but we'll just give you our honest opinion on things, and it's just our opinion. It doesn't mean it's fact, but
I wasn't offended at all. In fact,
I'm glad you and your crew enjoyed it.
The funniest was CJ. He was, I answered the phone, and he went right into that breathy, I'm giving birth kind of vocal. So,
well, here, Justin, I'll put the open invitation out that you can deliver to CJ. Tell CJ if he wants to call next week, lines are open.
I will tell him that.
You know
I
how
will
to get
text
me
him
his
when we get off
number
the phone.
to call him.
He was like, what are you going to say to him? I would say, have fun. We were laughing about it. CJ's got a great personality, and, some of the stuff he said was really funny. It was funny stuff. So,
Well, bring him on. We want funny here.
We'll talk to him.
Because we're not funny at all.
I'll bring CJ and JK, and you can just rip them. What are you two guys mixing that crap for?
Oh, good. We'll have him on.
Sure.
So, I don't care as long as someone buys a CD.
There it is. Well, speaking of that, where can they go to buy it?
Well, February 26th is going to be everywhere. Till then, they can pre-order off our website, which is www.liberty.justice.net. And if they pre-order it, they get the digital files the same day.
All right. Instantaneous. Excellent.
Instantaneous.
Right.
So.
Good.
Well, what about Angel Death? Is she doing anything this week? Is she talking in the chat room? Is she...
She's
quiet.
She's in there. She's in the chat right now.
I would love to see a picture of this lady. I mean, how could you bring her home to your mom? Mom, this is Angel Death. Wait to see what she does with the glass.
Well, Justin, if you log into the chat room, chatandkill.com, you can speak with her personally.
I'm scared.
Wow.
My wife won't let me.
Nice. Excellent. I think she's just recovering from her wounds from last week.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
So it is what it is. And, I appreciate. I sent Chris a message right off Facebook, and I said, I laughed. I heard it, and I saw he posted something, and it was very cool.
Excellent.
It was funny. I know you guys, and the last time we were together, you're joking that Beelzebub and I are making a deal for the next record. This is it, guys. This was it.
Very nice.
All right, Justin. Well, I appreciate you being a good sport and coming on, and sincerely though, you're welcome on anytime you like. So just hit us up and say, hey, I want to come on the show tonight. Even if you don't have anything to promote, just say, hey, I want to come on tonight. I want to talk. So.
All right, and I will come if you bring a picture of this angel of death. I mean, just maybe for my own sake, old private keeping, kind of 3 a.m. kind of thing, just so I have it.
All right. Well, Justin, since we talked about Janie Lane and you mentioned that he, did a song for this latest release, the Cigar-Chronicles, I thought maybe we'd close the interview with this.
Very good. Yeah, very cool song. It's about personal, feelings, seeking salvation, and regretting our past. And I dig the song. It also has Bill Leverty of Firehouse on it. You guys just mentioned him.
Yeah, Bill's a good dude, good friend.
And Terry Kelly, of course. So, awesome. It's really cool. We gave the song to Janie. Janie rewrote some of the words. Him and Terry rewrote some of the pre-chorus. And he really did a good job.
Good. All right. Well, the Liberty and Justice release is available, what'd you say, February 26th?
February 26th.
All right. So go over there to Liberty N, the letter N, justice.com.
.net.
.net?
Yep.
.net.
All right. And go
We
pick...
can't afford the .com yet.
Okay. GoDaddy.com. All right. Go over there and buy it and drop Justin a note. Let him know you heard him here on the Classic Metal Show. Good sport,
Angel
Justin.
Death, send me a picture. My email's on there.
It's excellent. All right. Well,
and I'll tell CJ and JK to get a hold of you guys.
yeah, please do.
Good.
They're
Please
more
do.
than welcome to come on anytime.
All right, guys. Have a great night.
All right, you too. All right, well, here it is. This is Liberty and Justice from the Cigar-Chronicles, and this is Janie Lane singing Sin exclusively here
On your Classic Metal Show.